What's up, Dragon Ball Super family? I'm Legends Michael Kerrick, and I'm bringing you my King Piccolo deck profile that I used on both Wednesday and Friday, the two regionals at Origins this weekend. I had a blast. I got third on Wednesday. I got second on Friday. I truly do think I could have won Friday if I didn't miss playing Swiss versus my finals opponent. And then I would have had the seeding to go first on him in the finals and take it all. But it was a really great event all around. I had a really good time. I definitely wanted to bring you guys a King Piccolo profile just to show you that the deck is definitely not dead and is still as strong as ever. Bandai, if you actually do watch some of these videos, please just ban this leader. I'm tired of seeing this leader in the game. So for those who are unfamiliar with this leader, it's the King Piccolo, the only King Piccolo leader, BT12. Both sides, on the front side, when he attacks, his auto allows you to take a Demon Clan or Red Namekian from your hand, put it into your life face up, and then take a life to replace it. At 2 face up life or 2 life left, he will awaken. Quick note, he does start with 6 life. On the backside, his auto upgrades to now you can put up to 3 of those cards back into your life face up and take up to 3 cards back from your life. Then he gains his Activate Battle, where for 0 mana, he gets to combo with a Red Demon Clan or Red Namekian and or Demon Clan, Red Namekian or Demon Clan from your life face up, and then first replace with the life from the top of your deck and then combo it. So he effectively gets free combo power from your life. Some of the advantages to this leader. He's effectively a draw. He's a 7 life leader because he draws 3 and heals 1 when he awakens. He even draws an extra card, so effectively he's really an 8 life leader. He can combo for free once per turn since you're comboing from your life. Sometimes that can be a 10k combo. Sometimes that can be a super combo. Most of the time it's a 5k combo. And then, of course, he gets access to all of his life every game, unlike most decks. So, quickly divulging into the deck list, unchanged from last format, we're playing 4 copies of King Piccolo Dragon Ball Obsession. He's your basic 1-drop tutor. He tutors a 2-drop Red Unison or a 4-drop or less Namekian or Demon Clan, of course, red. Every card in this deck searches only red cards, so assume if it searches or does anything, it only finds red. Next, we have the piano replacement. We have 4 copies of King Piccolo Yearning for Youth. It has a whole bunch of text, but the only keyword skill we really care about is that first auto that says when you play this card, draw a card. It's also a King Piccolo in name, so it can be evolved into King Piccolo Time to Fight, which is actually really important. So when you're looking for your mulligans, you're looking to open one of these in your opening hand. After you have one of these, shuffle the rest away from your hand. And then, of course, going to the Unisons, we have our now limited to 1 Piccolo Jr. Descent of the King. I do believe this Unison should have just been errated so that the auto also had a once per turn clause to it. It's a really great Unison in that its +1 is just draw a card, which is important since the leader does not draw an attack. Its -2 I used maybe once per the entire 2 tournaments. It lets you pick one of your level 3 red battle cards, and then you KO all of your opponent's battle cards with power less than or equal to the card you selected. Sometimes it lets you KO a whole field because most of the time you're selecting a 40k battle card. Then afterwards you can reduce this Unison by another 2 markers to rejuvenate 1 as long as you have something underneath. Of course, the auto of this Unison is what makes it so ridiculous, where whenever your opponent activates a counter skill, you get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with power of 15k or less and KO it, and that is not once per turn. Since we are limited to 1 copy of this Piccolo Unison, we played 3 copies of his backup brother, Mass Saiyan, whatever the heck. He's a 2-drop red Unison, which effectively lets you draw a card. And I learned over the weekend that he also lets you shuffle. I must have just skipped over that when I was reading the card. So he actually forces you to shuffle your deck and then draw a card, which is irrelevant most of the time because they're all Schrodinger cards until you draw them. But that does come up in versus blue, where blue bottom decks a lot of your creatures, so that maybe the bottom deck something important. Now you can shuffle and get that access to that card again. His -2 is completely unplayable in this deck, and his ability to send down a 1-drop Saiyan is also completely unplayable in his deck. Moving on to the first MVP of this deck, we play 4 copies of King Piccolo Time to Fight. Note that we did play 8 evolved targets. There's actually a 9th evolved target in the deck, but initially we played 8 evolved targets to put this guy on top of. So in case you miss a Unison on turn 2, this guy lets you, when you evolve him into him, he lets you go grab a 2-cost red Unison or a 4-drop or less Demon Clan or red Namekian, excluding himself. Of course, if you miss out on your Unison on turn 2, you can just evolve into him from your turn 1 play to go get your desired Unison. Additionally, he's also a great turn 3 play, especially because he usually only costs 1 energy on turn 3. And I hadn't mentioned it yet, but I wanted to abuse King Piccolo because this deck breaks the rules of Dragon Ball very quickly. One of the rules of Dragon Ball is you have to have combo power, right? You have a limited amount of combo power. Well, this card breaks that rule by its second auto, where whenever this card is played or when it attacks, it gives one of your Demon Clans 20k power for the turn. That's effectively 2 super combos worth of combo power just for attacking with this dude. He's also a sticky 20k body. So it's very difficult. Like, it's kind of a pain in the butt to remove him on your opponent's turn. Then for the second rule that King Piccolo breaks in this game, we have the entire Demon Clan suite. We have 4 copies of Symbol, 4 copies of Tambourine, 1 copy of Drum. They all do a bunch of stuff. This one's a dual attacker. This one sometimes lets you draw a card. He's also your only card that you can play multiple copies of. Drum is a blocker that has barrier. But what makes these cards so busted, they could have all been vanillas, but what makes these cards so busted is they all play for free when they're comboed from your energy. See, Dragon Ball is a game that has a finite amount of resources in the fact that you spend energy to play battle cards. This deck breaks that rule by allowing you to play battle cards without paying the energy. These cards are common from your life via your leader effect or some other effect, they do come into the battlefield in active mode, allowing you to attack with them afterwards, creating some ridiculous chain of attacks for aggression. Bandai, please add 1 energy to all of these Demon Clan guys for their auto to play themselves. Next, we have a card that assists in breaking that rule. We play 3 copies of King Piccolo, First Step to Rival. Remember how I said the first rule that broke was free combo power, and the second rule it broke was free battle cards. Well, this card breaks both of those rules. When this card is used in a combo, you may combo with up to 1 Demon Clan from your life. So that, of course, lets you play those Demon Clans for free after you combo with them, giving you 1 or 10k combo power for 0 energy, and then giving you an attacker after. It further breaks that combo rule by being able to warp this card from your drop and target one of your face-up Demon Clan or Namekian cards, red Namekian cards or Demon Clans, and then giving it 5k for the turn, which is huge. That can be added to your leader. Some people actually don't know that. Once again, that turns this card into a 0 for 10k effectively, even if you're not playing a Demon Clan with this card. More rule-breaking stuff going into our defensive package. We play 3 copies of Piccolo Jr. the King Scion. So Piccolo Jr. King Scion naturally says counterattack for 4 energy. Negate the attack and play this card in rest mode, and then you can't do the counter skill for the rest of the turn. It's also a unique double strike blocker. Some great stats for a 4-drop. Some even better stats when it costs 0 energy because you have a 2-drop red unison on the field with any amount of markers on it. So you get a free negate that then becomes a threat the next turn. Of course, it's also a 1 for 10k combo, but who cares about that? Because if you put that face up in your life, your leader can combo with that for free from your life, giving you access to extra super combos in your deck. More free negates. We have 2 copies of Wolffang Fist. I kind of just wanted to play this for the GT matchup, and if there was going to be a mirror and versus Gamma, I unfortunately only saw GT all weekend, so I kept siding this out all week until I matched up in the GT into the semifinals, and then it did magic there. Going along those free negates, testing the opposition is a sort of free negate in the fact that it actually costs 1 of your life, but that's actually a good thing in this deck because you want to get down to 4 life to be able to use your super combos. We are going to be using a life requirement super combo, but testing the ops is just your classic blocker negate for red right now. Also, the fact that it has combo power is actually super useful. It creates this Cyberman token specifically and gives it blocker, and the next turn, if you need to, you can combo off with it to add another 5k to your attacks. Super useful. We play all 4 copies because you definitely want to see this card the turn you play your Unison or the turn you awaken so that you can defend your Unison. We play 4 copies of Piccolo, Dependable Warrior, whatever. The red Namekian super combo. We played this super combo specifically so that your leader can add it to your life, and then you can combo it from your life. It's just one of those, if your life is at 4 or less, you draw a card. But the fact that you can add it to your life and it's a red Namekian means it also synergizes with all the cards that search out red Namekian, so you can just grab your super combos on demand if you need them, which is a super helpful tool. Into the more free play, like no energy required in defense, we have 3 copies of Yamcha Merciless Barrage. Yamcha is just the counterplay, which on window 2s can hit the card being played as long as that card has a window 2. If you need more information on that, just PM me. There's a lot of cool little ruling things you can do with this card, but big thing to note, it's a 15k attacker that comes out for 0 when your opponent tries to play a battle card. It sometimes snuffs out other 15k attackers when it comes in. That's irrelevant. It's just an attacker that comes in for free. Our better counterplay, we play 3 copies of Vegeta Resolve Renewed. You need 3 energy to be able to play this card, so I only played 3 copies of it. There is an argument to be made for a 4th copy in the side for those control-heavy decks. This definitely won me some of my control matchups, where those decks relied on a floodgate like Oceanus or Ripos to survive the early aggro, and you just Vegeta Resolve Renewed to shut off that floodgate, and you end their life. It's a 10k attacker, which is relevant in this deck specifically because your leader's ability to combo for free from the life, making it a 15k attacker on the turn you decide to attack with it. Into some extra pressure tools, we decided to play 2 copies of Son Goku Divine Presence. Since this leader gets 1 free combo from the life, you can fulfill half the requirement for 0 energy, or 0 loss, to be able to activate this Activate Battle effect. And then this card over here that lets you combo with card from your life allows you for 1 card to create 2 combo cards for the Activate Battle requirement. So super efficient card to play. It becomes a 25k attacker, which is the sweet spot for an aggro deck. You want to be 10k over your opponent's leader. You can also give 5k to one of your other red cards that's attacking, which is kind of relevant because you definitely want to turn like your time to fight into a 25k attacker, or just turn any kind of attacker into a 25. That's like a big deal if you're learning to play aggro mid range like I am right now. You definitely want to make sure every single one of your attacks throughout the game has value, right? And to actually have value to your attacks, you want to make sure your attacks supersede a super combo. So your opponent can't just spend a super combo in the attack. You want them to be forced to spend an extra card on top of that super combo. So 25k is the like sweet spot number as long as your opponent is a 15k leader. Other 1-0s we can talk about, we have this Piccolo, the new ruler. It's been a staple for this deck forever. It's a searchable double strike, 0 energy play. Once again, breaking the rules of the game. Can't be blocked. It's 20k. So if you're it's got a permanent that makes it 20k. So if they try to Yamcha, it still survives at 5k. Really neat effect. It's also a King Piccolo of 3-drop or less, so it can be evolved into Time to Fight after. It's actually a really strong play on turn 3. If you don't have a 1-drop developed, you can actually like swing with this, go into Time to Fight, and then use Time to Fight to grab this TP and then go into Divine Presence. That's like 5 damage before you even count your leader, Unison, and like whatever demon clans you're about to attack with. And those are all like relevant 5 damage numbers too. They're not like 15k numbers. Next card, we talk about our 1 overround that we played. Chose to play that SS Trunks Solid Tree Guardian. He's just a 25. Well, he gains 5k on overround and he draws a card, so he replaces himself. Super great effects. Only overround 4, so it's super easy to set up. And he's a 25k, which I mentioned earlier is a super sweet number. So your opponent either takes the damage or gives you a super combo and a card, and you lost absolutely nothing to create that threat. Our SCR is this Vegeta. My team captain disagrees with me, but I think this is the best SCR for this deck. It literally wipes Majin Buu and Mechikabura Unison off the field when it comes down, which are huge problems for this deck. It resets the field in your favor. Also, after you spend 4 mana on this Unison, you can create more attackers because, like I said, you're breaking the rules of the game. It sets your opponent's leader to 10k, so that all your attackers cost now a super combo to be comboed out of, even if you don't combo. And then finally, the last 2 tech choices I decided to play are 1 copy of Vegito, Unison of Might. I don't even know what his +1 and -5 do. I'm kidding. They just never got used, but his -2 is like a mini Apex effect, so it brings over my Invoker flavor to this deck. His -2 says, until the end of your opponent's next turn, when they try to play a battle card using a skill, it goes straight to the drop instead, effectively locking most decks out of the game. I mean, all red decks could theoretically abuse this, right? But like this deck can play this -2 for all 4 of his energy, and then generate like 3 or 4 more attackers the same turn, which is ridiculous. And then my last tech card is this SS Son Goku Pan and SS Trunks Galactic, whatever the heck, from the new set 17 that just came out. It's got this cool, like, I'm actually going to go over this card for a little bit because it's actually a really cool tech choice. I did not come up with this. One of my test buddies came up with this at the shop. Shout out to Jonathan Lanza, I think is his real name. Good on him for coming up with this idea. So it's got Deflect, which is super sweet as a boss monster. It's a 0 for 5k, which is actually sick as a boss monster. It's got this Activate Main for 3 energy. If you have 4 or more energy, you can play this from underneath your Unison. Sweet, so you get a free endgame battle card. It's got this cool Activate Main once per turn Spirit Boost 3, where you take 3 markers off your Unison. Suddenly you negative 30k your opponent's entire battle area, and this card gains triple attack, 30k triple attack. And then what actually makes this card so cool is its Activate Main Limit 1, where you get to choose one of your Unison cards with 10k, with at least 10k power or more, and you get to place this card under and give that Unison a marker. So why is that relevant, right? So let's go over a few scenarios where that's super cool. Let's talk about these. cards specifically. So let's start with Tambourine, right? Tambourine, to fulfill the conditions for Tambourine's dual attack, you need to either have 3 face-up battle cards in your life, which is doable, but that falls off either the turn it's being played, like the first turn you awaken, you don't have 3 face-up, and then if you fall below 3 life, you don't have 3 face-up anymore, right? You only have 1 Piccolo now, so it's actually kind of difficult to get a card underneath this Piccolo by tucking. You kind of have to rely on Symbol, which is not efficient early game, right? The other requirement for that dual attack is to have a unison with a card underneath it, right? So the 2 ways we fulfill that are either you have a Bardock or a Mass Saiyan, sorry, not Bardock, Mass Saiyan, and then you grab another Mass Saiyan, you tuck it under. Now Tambourine can dual attack. The other way, of course, is the standard Piccolo. You have Symbol and you tuck it under, or you could take this GT Goku and use its Activate main to tuck it underneath your Unison. Suddenly Tambourine for 0 energy as a dual attacker, once again breaking more rules of this game. Other cool uses of this Goku, of course, is Vegito. After you use the first -2, he sits at 2 markers, right? Most people, when it goes to their turn, they'll invest resources. Since it's a 20k Unison, they'll invest enough resources to set the Unison to 1, so you can't do the -2 again. So when it comes back to your turn, you'll just tuck in the GT, and then you'll -2 again, and then you'll watch as their crestfallen faces lose the game. So that's the main deck for King Piccolo. Super good aggro deck. Definitely has some good mid-range fight, and all of its stuff is just relying on the fact that it plays stuff for free. That is not what Dragon Ball should be about, in my opinion. So, yeah, play that while you can, I guess. Going to the side deck that I used for this weekend, play 1 copy of Corrin Tower's Secret Medicine because I have no clue how to kill Black Mass Saiyan unless they, play stuff into Yamcha. I also played it mainly as a respect card for AOD. AOD has a really cool, like, 15k swarm engine. They slam your face in it, but you can just bean, kill off their Overlord Babidi because it minuses 5k something, ignoring Bear, and then gives you a bean effect. And then now you're a 20k leader, and AOD can no longer pressure you down. So it's a super cool threat. It's also good into anything that's really, like, 15k wide and plays a small dude, so, like, Black Mass Saiyan, right? So that was like really cool, my 1 respect card. I played a second copy of Vegito, Unison, and Might because I like playing 2 Apex of powers in my deck, and this card kind of does that versus some matchups. Like Yellow Sin can't win this matchup when you have 2 copies of this card in your deck. It's supposed to be useful versus U7 Goku unless they do stuff like slam Bodyguard Legic into your field, which isn't a special summon, so that was kind of cool. But it is really strong in those other matchups versus black matchups that have to like special summon to play. Like this card just shuts those out. Of course, if you're playing against Invoker, this card also shuts out their win con, so that's really cool to use. 2 copies of Dabura as a respect card to that new green cooler deck that likes to chop apart your hand. 2 copies of Kaioken as a respect card to Yellow and their Slug card. Also helps to snipe that Trunks in that matchup, so that's really cool too. I didn't actually see that deck, so it didn't matter. 3 copies of Realm of the Gods, Ultra Instinct as a respect card to Yellow Sin Shenron. You have to kill that 9-drop. A lot of times you can just swing with Leader. They're now forced to block your Leader because they know you're just going to Realm of the Gods and kill that card anyway, so it's super useful card for that fact. 2 copies of Koitsukai as a respect to Cooler Mill. Also as a bonus aid to Yellow to punish Raipas, Goku at the tree, or whatever it's called. That new Goku negate that comes out. Anything Yellow does, they try to play on your turn. This just shuts that off and forces them to punish more. 2 copies of Shin Nova Supremacy as a respect to Aggro Sin, and mainly as a respect to U7. You don't have to charge more than 3 energy in this deck. Shin says when this card is played, draw a card. That's sweet. It's also 0 for 5k. That's sweet. What's super dope, though, is its second auto where it says if you have 3 or less energy when you play this card, your opponent can't attack with 7 drops or higher their next turn. So as long as you're going into U7's turn 4, and you can, if you're on the play, you can choose not to draw. If you have this in hand already, then you just slam this. They can't slam the Ultra Mastery Goku on you. If you're on the draw, it's just fine as well because you're on 3, they're going into 4. You can just slam Shin naturally, and once again, they can't attack you with those big beaters. They're kind of forced to go back to those small beaters, which you can now combo out of because you're awakened. So really a sweet card for that. And then, of course, my respect to Blue. 2 copies of my King Piccolo's Underling. It's just a cool 1-drop red card. It punishes D-Magic and like Whis' Coercion if they play that. But it just really like shuts out D-Magic and forces blue players to really think about how they want to use their energy. Also, it's kind of cool that it's a King Piccolo card, like in name, so that kind of has flavor. That was my King Piccolo deck list. Super simple, super aggressive. I had a lot of fun playing it this weekend. Quick shout out to all my guys from Miami, all my friends. My buddy Ariel came up with me at Origins. It was a really good time. All the guys I hung out with at Origins, super fun. My full Walton Beach testing crew has always helped me prepare for this event, so that was super dope. Shout out to Fox PPG for creating such a good environment to play in. If you guys have any questions about King Piccolo and you want to sign my petition and get all aggro decks banned, yeah, please message me. It'd be a good time. Till then, I'll catch you guys next time.